Hey, 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 party people. It's Brandy and Cecily, and we're back with Blooming Through Faith, the podcast that helps you grow and bloom in your mindset, lifestyle, health, and wealth. We want you to know that you are capable, beautiful, and worthy. All right. Have you ever looked at your life and thought, why does it feel like things are being taken away instead of added? Maybe relationships have shifted. Maybe routines have changed. Maybe life just feels quieter than you expected. And if that's you, we want you to know that you're not alone. There are seasons when it feels like everything is being cut back instead of built up. And in those moments, it's easy to wonder if you did something wrong or if God is disappointed in you. But today we're talking about something called pruning season, a season that can feel uncomfortable or confusing, but is often where God is doing some of his most loving and intentional work. This episode is for the woman who feels like she's in between who she used to be and who she's becoming.
Love that. I think we're going to talk about this throughout the episode, but I just want to give some examples of pruning. And a lot of times we go through these seasons in our lives, and if someone doesn't intentionally tell us hey, this is what this is, then it can be really easy to feel really bad in these seasons, and it can be really easy to get down on yourself. And it's funny, the inspiration for this episode hits really close to home for me, and I know it does for Brandy. And we actually just had this conversation last week where we were on the phone, and she was sharing some things with me, and I said, sounds like the Lord is pruning some things from your life that need to be pruned before this next season of growth. And if you're a woman who gardens, you understand this analogy, which is where pruning comes from, obviously. But that is in order for new growth to happen in plants, whether it's you're growing tomatoes, or I only really grow tomatoes, so I don't know, herbs and things. So for me, I have a tomato garden, right? So when we're growing tomatoes, if I don't prune back the unnecessary leaves, the tomato plants won't grow as big as they need to, because it's giving resources to the unnecessary leaves. So you might realize that a friendship ends, maybe a coworker leaves in a bad way, a season where life feels quieter or lonelier. For me, I'm just going to be very real and raw in this episode, because there's a lot of people that listen that I want them to feel know that we're always going to be honest. So I work in ministry. There's a lot of times where in ministry, people just leave. There's no notice. There's no, it's oh, I won't be coming in this Sunday and I'm leaving the church. And you're like, oh, what could we have done differently? What happened? And there's a lot of questions you start to ask yourself, did I do something wrong? Is there something you weren't receiving? Where was the offense? What happened? How did I not? You can feel blindsided by a lot of these things a lot of times. You can even feel like you're doing everything right, but nothing is growing. Maybe you own a business. You feel like you're doing everything right, but nothing is growing. If you feel that way, I just want to reassure you that you are not broken and you're not being punished. A lot of times we think oh, I'm got to be doing something wrong because God wouldn't let this happen to me, right? Why wouldn't he make things successful if I was doing the right things? He might just have you in a pruning season.
That's so good. So when you hear the word pruning, it doesn't exactly sound encouraging, right? It sounds painful. It sounds like a loss. But pruning is actually a process of care. Okay. So just like Cecily said, think about gardening for a moment, right? When a plant is healthy and growing, it still gets trimmed back, but not because it's failing, but because it has the potential to grow even more. Right? So the gardener cuts away what's no longer helping so the plant can put its energy towards how to produce the fruit, right? So pruning isn't destruction, it's preparation. It is not destruction.
That's so
It
good.
is, yeah, right? It's preparation. And in our lives, pruning seasons are when God gently removes things, sometimes people, habits, distractions, or even versions of ourselves that are no longer helping us grow into who we're meant to be. All right, so let's talk about why pruning can feel so confusing. The hardest part about pruning is that it often doesn't look bad on the outside. Sometimes what's being removed isn't sinful or wrong, it's just no longer aligned with where you are going.
Ooh, that's really good. And you should say that again.
Yes. Okay, so it's just no longer aligned with where you're going, right? It's not sinful or wrong. It's being
Mm,
removed because it is no longer aligned with where you're going. And that's why it hurts. We get attached to familiar routines, comfortable relationships, old
mm.
identities, roles that once defined us. So when those things start to shift or fall away, it can feel like something is going wrong when in reality, something deeper is happening.
Yeah, that's really good. And I think what you just said about it just not being aligned with where we're going, like God will have us in different places for different seasons. And a lot of times, most of the places that He puts us through are to grow us,
Mhm.
not for us to be there forever. And I think we especially live in a society, in a culture where more is better. And to have is the thing that we want, right? So, like, for us to remove things and to feel loss feels very unnatural. Like, we don't want to lose things. When you call somebody up and you say, "Oh, I quit this job," or "I got rid of this," there's never like a congratulations, which we should start doing that. Also,
Yeah.
girl, if your friend calls you and tells you, "Oh, I quit this toxic job," you should be like, "That's incredible. We're going to throw you a party." Not
Yes,
like,
I love
"Oh no,
that.
you quit your job." Like, if people are removing things from their life, it is just as monumental as if they get a promotion or if they gain something. Like, sometimes to release things really helps us. And a lot of times we don't even realize when God is protecting us from something. And I'm gonna be
Mhm.
totally honest,
Mm.
I can look back at so many friendships of mine in the past that fell apart. And
Mm.
at the moment I was heartbroken. I remember thinking, why does this woman who's been my friend for years not want to be my friend? Like, what could have happened? What could I have done? Why are they acting this way? And now I look back and think, oh, there's no way that friendship could have survived where I went next. There's no way that friendship would have been good for me, the place I was going next. So, like, a lot of times God will remove things from for us because He sees more than us. He knows more than us. He's aware of everything that happens behind the scenes, and He knows who needs to be there for you in a season and who does not. And I can say this confidently, just being in ministry. There's a lot of like this next year in ministry, I know we're going through a huge season of growth, and the Lord has showed us incredible things that He is doing. And there are people who have chosen to leave that at first I was like, oh man, like I want so badly for them to be a part of this next season because, like, I don't want them to miss it. But at the end of the day, they weren't the people who were supposed to be there for it. And He knew that. And I didn't, because I'm not as smart as him. I'm just not as wise.
So I
So
love that. I want to just say this real quick because what you said just aligns with one of our posts on Blooming Through Faith Instagram. So if you're not following us, please follow us on
you
Blooming Through
should.
Faith Instagram. So this is a post we made the other day. It says, "And one day you'll wake up and realize God never took anything from you. He just saw things and said, 'Not with my girl.'"
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I just got goosebumps. So think about that. Like, that's so true that even in relationships, in friendships, in business, like maybe a business deal did not go through. Maybe you're trying to build a business on social media, and the people that you're talking to, you're just going through what feels like a struggle. It's not. Like, the Lord is growing something inside of you, within you. He's protecting you from something. He's pushing you in a direction He wants you to go. Like, if things were not bad in the last place that I was, I would have never transitioned or made the move into ministry. And I can't imagine my life if I wasn't here. But if things were perfect where I was, right, I would have never moved. Sometimes He has to make things really hard for us to walk away into what
Oh,
He's called us
wow.
to, right? Like,
That's so good.
and you too. I mean, we were in the same place. So, like, think about it. Like, if
I
things
thought
were
I'd be there
perfect,
forever.
we wouldn't have left, right? And if we hadn't have left, who knows what would have happened? Golly. So, like, you might be in a pruning season if things feel quieter than usual. There's like an unsettled quietness. You're not doing a lot of the things that you normally do. You might feel less connected to things that once energized you. Like, is your environment draining you? Are the people you're around draining you? Certain relationships, they can naturally drift or they can end. It could be abruptly. Like, if you are feeling a strong pull to slow down, to quit something, to release something, if God keeps nudging you to say no, to let go, if you feel uncomfortable, anywhere you're at, like in the place that you're at, not anywhere you're at, but like in the place that you're at, if you feel uncomfortable, God might be trying to prune that away from you. Or even if something just doesn't happen, like there could be something in your life that you want so badly and it could just not be happening. And that's not God punishing you. Like that could be a season of pruning, him saying like, this is not, I'm not ready for you to have this yet. And here's something that's really important is pruning doesn't usually happen when you're failing. Like I really need you guys to listen to me and hear me when I say this. Pruning does not happen when you're failing. It happens the most when you are growing. When you are growing into a new season, the Lord will prune things that you can no longer carry, right? So if I'm going to walk, imagine yourself walking up steeper and steeper hills, right? I have bigger goals. I have bigger places I want to go. I'm climbing harder, higher, faster, the less baggage you can carry, right? Like if I'm walking on just the straight and narrow, I can probably carry a bunch of baggage. I can carry big, heavy bags. I can't carry all those big, heavy bags if I'm going to climb Mount Everest, right? I know that sounds like a weird analogy, but like the higher you go, the bigger your goals, the bigger your dreams, the more things and people you're going to have to let go of. So I want to just address the fear of like, am I being punished? Is this because I'm doing something wrong? Am I failing? Like, this is where most women get stuck because we're basically told a lot of times that if you're checking off all the boxes and doing all the right things, you'll be successful. We watch social media. We have comparison theory because we see these women doing all these great things online. We don't see the struggle, right? Pruning is not punishment. God is not cutting things out of your life because he's angry with you or he doesn't trust you or he's disappointed in you. He's not taking things away from you to teach you a lesson. Like pruning is an act of love. It is because he knows that we are not able or ready to let go of people or things ourselves. So he does it for us. So just like a good gardener doesn't neglect healthy plants, God doesn't neglect growing hearts. He tends to our hearts carefully, and sometimes that feels uncomfortable.
God doesn't neglect growing hearts. That's really good. And the analogy was really good, like picturing going up a mountain and having to let go of things to continue to rise. That was really, really good, Cecily. All right. So let's go ahead and shift the perspective, kind of like what Cecily was saying, right? So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Try asking, what might God be growing in me, right? Instead of seeing this as a loss, let's look at like, what is this making room for? Right? So, what is this going to free room for? What am I being invited to release? Who am I becoming in this season? Right? Because what feels like an ending is often just a transition. Sometimes God moves like literally, like Cecily was just saying, like I was getting teary-eyed when she was talking about the past company because we thought we were going to stay there. It had to get messy for us to leave, but like I couldn't imagine still being there with how God has grown me these past few years with just listening to him and just moving on, right? So sometimes God removes what we're holding on to, like we just talked about, so tightly because our hands need to be open for what's next. Yep, I'm going to say that again. Sometimes God removes what we're holding on to so tightly because our hands need to be open for what's next. So pruning season often gives us things we couldn't grow any other way. Deeper confidence, healthier boundaries, clearer purpose, greater peace, a stronger identity, freedom from striving. God isn't trying to shrink your life. He's trying to strengthen it. He's not taking from you. He's refining you.
I love that. That's so good. Everything you said is just so good, but even just the visual of like, what you said about holding on so tightly. So I can't remember who it was, but someone told me one time and it stuck with me forever. They said, God can't give you something if your fists are closed. So if you're praying to God to give you something, but your hands are so tight with all the things that you still have, you have to release to receive. And so I love that idea of like, you have to open your fists and let go of what you have in order to receive what is next for you. Just in the idea of refining you, like you said something about like healthier boundaries, clearer purpose. Like I know you can understand this too, being in businesses where So Brandon and I have both always been in businesses where we have leadership over people. And that's kind of a rare thing. Not everybody owns a business where they have leadership over lots of people. And so you learn to work with a lot of different personalities, but we have had to, I think the way that we lead has changed so much because of circumstances that have happened, like not good things that have happened, like somebody has quit in a bad way or some bad situation happened or we messed up somewhere. Like everything we've learned about how to lead other people and how to have boundaries and how to have everything that we do is because of things that happened that felt really bad at the time, right? Like, so think about all the times that you've ever grown. I don't think I can hear one story from someone who has talked about how they've grown in their life, in their leadership, in their faith, in their home, and their story is like a happy-go-lucky story that they tell me. No, it's always like, oh, well, let me tell you this time I like fell on my face. Or let me tell you this time that I almost got divorced. Or let me tell you this time that like my favorite story that I tell people is about how half of my son's life, he despised me. When he was little, he would scream and yell and cry, and he went through things, because of my divorce. It was so tumultuous and so hard on him. He'll tell you even now to this day, he's 16 now, and he'll be like, oh yeah, I was really mean to my mom. Like, but my story of that I share with parents is because it's such a redemptive story, because now he's the sweetest kid, the most responsible kid. I love him so much. I've always loved him so much, but like he has a great relationship with me, and he's in my room every single day just bugging me and asking me. I don't know. He doesn't like being in his room. He's in my room 24/7. I don't know how to get him back into his room. But like all of that, I don't say like, oh, my son and I had a beautiful relationship from day one, and that's why, no, I'm like, hey, we fought for this relationship that we have now, and it was hard and it sucked and I cried. And now the Lord has grown us to this place that is so beautiful and so close. And he's just like the sweetest kid. And we hang out all the time. And I'm like, that came from a really rough place that did not feel good, but it was a pruning. So my encouragement to you, if like you're newer to faith and you're like, I don't even really know what you guys are talking about, you're still figuring out, what to believe, I want you to hear this and understand this. You do not have to understand everything for God to be working in your life. Like, even if you're not sure what you believe in, we talk from a biblical place, but if you're not sure what you believe in, like, God is still working in your life right now. You don't need the perfect prayers. You don't need the right words. You don't need to have it all figured out. Like, he meets you exactly where you are. Even if you're unsure, he is steady. Even if you feel lost, he sees you. So I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, whether you're driving, whether you're at home, whether you're on a treadmill, whatever you're doing while you're listening to this, just pause. What feels like it's being cut back in my life right now? What does it feel like I'm losing? Is there something I've been afraid to let go of? That's a really good one. Is there something I'm afraid to let go of? What kind of growth could come from this season? You don't have to rush a pruning season. You don't have to replace what is lost. I want to say that again, because a lot of times we think like, oh, we lost this thing, I have to replace it. No, wait and see what God is doing. Growth does not happen overnight, especially not the kind that lasts.
So good. Oh my gosh, so good. All right, girls, we're going to leave you with this, all right? So if you are in a pruning season, it doesn't mean you're behind. It means you're being prepared for deeper roots, prepared for healthier growth, prepared for more fruit in this season ahead. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. And blooming always comes after the pruning. So remember, pruning is not a pause on your purpose. It's preparation for it. Trust that what feels like less right now is making room for more than you can see. And remember, you are worthy, you are capable, you are beautiful, and we can't wait to watch you grow, girl.